Actually, it's time for our first presentation. We're going to be addressing oversaturated social media landscape through data and insights in news on social media, presented to you by Hazem Bagh, who is the Senior Manager of Social Media Marketing and Insights at Asharq, one of the region's most recently launched and youngest news outlets and a part of Saudi Research and Media Group. He oversees social media operations, paid content, strategy, and content marketing, and insights for Asharq News and Asharq Business with Bloomberg across all platforms. Hazem also has marketing and communications experience in other domains, such as luxury and energy marketing roles in multinationals such as Chanel and Technip. And Hazem is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, so if you don't listen to his presentation, he will fight you. Ladies and gentlemen, Hazem Bagh.
Thanks, man. Hello, everyone. My name is Hazem, and I'm from Asharq, the region's youngest and most prominent Arabic news provider. Before we get to a really cool topic, a cool, nerdy topic, let me tell you quickly who we are and what we do. So Asharq is a 24/7 multi-platform news organization based out of the region and for the region. We're on TV, we're on social, we're on digital, and we're hopefully going to be in many more places soon. Our USP is providing news, high quality news in the prism of the economy, through the prism of the economy, so that we empower people make everyday decisions. We're not alone. We're a part of a bigger group, the Saudi Research and Media Group, one of the biggest media conglomerates in the region, and home to 40+ brands of the most well-renowned, esteemed publications in the region. Our crown jewel is our business programming, which is Asharq Business with Bloomberg, an exclusive content agreement with Bloomberg, whereby we're able to leverage Bloomberg's wide array of journalists, of analysts, to really give news in the best way possible. So it's safe to say that data is in our DNA. So we're in business. We're in the business of news. On social, our conversions are people following our page. Our acquisitions are people going through our news. Our use cases are far more than just marketing, because we create content for a living. We make content every single day. So it's our core business. It stops being about just our marketing efforts. It becomes about our content efforts. And because we're a business, it's very important for us to be out there. It's important for us, for our target audience, to see us as many times as possible for as long as possible. Our awareness relies on it. Our engagement relies on it. Our bottom line relies on it. But there's a challenge, though. There's a challenge when it comes to venturing into a platform. There's a challenge when it comes to creating content on a platform. On linear TV, for instance, the challenge is that there's a very narrow pipeline that you can push content through. You can do it simultaneously, and you can do it across a wide array of bandwidth. It's also costly. It costs a lot of money to be on air and to broadcast. So when you decide to program and when you decide to put out a piece of content, it becomes very important for you to be 100% sure about the piece of content that you're pushing out, because the cost for you to change that and make changes on the fly is really high. Data is also not that widely available for a platform like TV. Oftentimes, it comes after, and it could be challenging to obtain. With new media, on the other hand, social in specific, it's a completely different animal. It's a completely different ball game. It's the exact opposite, to be frank. Consumption habits have been changing, and they've been changing rapidly. Competition is no longer with our media outlets for us. We're competing with essentially everybody in this room. We're competing with independent content creators. We're competing with cat videos online. We're competing with anybody that is capable of producing content. Consumer demand is also diverse, and it changes quickly. So we are governed by the attention economy. We are governed by free market dynamics. And failure to capture this in an agile way could be catastrophic. It could be bad news, no pun intended. So in a day and age where every advantage matters, where people are looking for a slight edge. How can news publishers find theirs? Well, news wires and sources are pretty much the same. The talent pool is almost also shared. Well, then it becomes about selecting the right stories at the right time. It becomes about filtering the stories that matter and pushing them forward. It becomes about empowering every writer, every producer, every editor with every single piece of information that they could possibly use so that they make content to the best of their ability. Our slight edge was in democratizing and harnessing data and basically providing insights to every stakeholder that's involved in the making of news, in the kitchen, with the data that they need to make that content. And for us, a key enabler was our partnership with Sprinklr. Sprinklr is not only our go-to tool for all things social, it also is the main source for all things social data for us. A lot of tools can give you that. The USP for us was the fact that not only does it give you the data, but it also allows you to distribute that data very quickly to all your stakeholders and streamline and scale those data efforts internally. So how did we achieve that edge? What was the edge for us? Before I give you specific examples, I think it's very important for you to show you the secret formula. It's no longer a secret, though. Basically, it starts with creating content. Our teams do what they do best. They create content without any hidden agendas. They just create content and see, and just to test it out, basically. Our job then is to find what content is working, and then maybe put out a few assumptions as to why this content is working. Once we have that assumption, we try to double down on that content and see if the assumption is correct. If it is correct, we do more of it. And we give feedback to the teams so that basically a reciprocating loop becomes they do more of what's working and they do less of what's not working. So how does that look like when it comes to actual practice? Well, our core social editorial team, for instance, has dashboards that give them the best performing content, the best performing genres of content, about which countries are these stories being written, are performing, so that in real time, they're able to make decisions on where to double down and where to hold back. On the medium term, it becomes about us sharing very, very specific actionable insights, giving them how the landscape looks like, giving them very specific video performance metrics, CTRs, view-through rates, and so on and so forth. It becomes about actionable insights, the what and the why as well. But then let's say that over the long term, the team wants to know more about what content types work. So for instance, Algerian politics seems to be a very hot topic. So the team then knows, okay, if I'm going to write about Algeria, I'm most likely going to write a politics story. Same thing, politics about Palestine is quite engaging. Politics about Iraq as well is quite engaging. So then they have an idea of what content genres work in what countries. Not just that, let's say that I'm talking about a foreign topic, US politics, for instance. Well then, I'm able to also find out that out of all my markets, US politics is most popular in Egypt. So this gives me an upper hand in deciding where to run my stories and why. Let's say I decided to run a story about US politics in Egypt. Well then, I also know that if I'm going to run that article or that piece of content on Facebook, then statistically speaking, people engage more with video content as well as articles. So I have a better chance of covering a US politics story in these formats. The story is not the same in Morocco, for instance, where consumers engage more with video content and photo content. So then the team is able to make these decisions on the fly so that they know not only what stories to run, what angles to take, but also how to treat them. It also becomes about giving them always-on dashboards, AI-powered dashboards that tells them what stories are breaking, not just from us, but from the competition. So let's say a competitor A is doing a certain story, and that story is in Iraq, and it's breaking. Then our team is able to maybe take that same story, maybe refine it, maybe tackle it from a different editorial angle. But it doesn't just stop with our core content team. It also extends across to all our stakeholders internally. So for instance, our assignment team, the team that's responsible for deploying reporters on ground, they're able to know how many reporters are on ground, how many live coverages have they had over a certain period of time, in which countries where coverage is mostly popular, which reporters did extremely well, so that the next time there's an event that breaks, they are able to know, for example, yes, it would be worth it for me to cover this event live, and maybe I would like to send this specific reporter. It also extends far more than that. When it comes to TV programming, for instance. Through social listening, we're able to know and see real-time data that really is nothing but conversations about our shows. Which shows are doing the best, which shows are performing the best, and hence our TV producers are able to make those decisions on the fly. But also, it's not just about coverage, it's also about planning for coverage. Meaning that if we have a big coverage planned, then we conduct extensive research so that our planning team has a good idea of what are the conversations that are being said about a certain topic, so that not only do they know the conversations, but they also have editorial angles to tackle. Meaning that, let's say I'm covering the French elections, then I would know beforehand that, for example, unemployment is a very hot topic in France, or for instance, the war in Ukraine is a very hot and pivotal topic prior to the elections. It also goes down to our breaking news teams, the teams that are sitting on news desks just waiting for breaking news and covering breaking news, whereby they're able to tell in real time how our coverage is, as opposed to all the competition that's doing coverage in the market, so that maybe a story breaks in Iraq, and then competitor 1 and competitor 2 decide to cover it at a certain volume. Then we can say, okay, you know what, we're not covering it enough, let's increase our volume, or let's decrease it. It also can be an eye-opener. For example, if everybody's busy covering Iraq and nobody's covering the States, maybe it's a good chance for us to start covering breaking news from the States more frequently, as you know, that market would be, at that moment, not served. It also goes to our content marketing teams, so that if you have a piece of content that's already performing well, that's already doing well over a certain period of time, then you know, this story is breaking, this story is doing well, let me maybe put some investment behind it and push that story in certain countries. And lastly, and most importantly, it also goes down to you know, giving a helicopter view to all our main stakeholders, so that they know, you know, how the brand is doing from a strategic point of view, what direction are we headed in, and are we headed in the right direction? So in a room filled with marketers, I'd be shocked if I didn't talk about results, because at the end of the day, this is very cool visualizations, very nice things that we can claim that we're doing, but unless we can prove business ROI, and unless we can prove that there are results, it just becomes you know, for show. So launch to date, which is just over 18 months, Asharq was able to always come out on the top 5 brands that are in terms of engagement, meaning that compared to our competition in the region, the providers that really cater to the same type of news, we've always been top 5 in terms of absolute engagement. We were able to amass 27 million followers across our social platforms, mainly driven by organic and paid growth. Our business offering is the top, most popular business offering in the region. It's a top followed business offering, as well as the most followed business offering on social. Our engagement per 1,000 fans, which is a more realistic and relative metric to measure how well we've been doing, has always been amongst the top 3. Our CPA has dropped 50% from the first 6 months that we've launched, as opposed to the last 6 months that we've measured this. The same goes with our video retention, where we've seen a 40% increase in video retention, measured within the same period of time. And our CLV has increased by 30%. With this, it's important to really understand that in an oversaturated market, specifically on social, in an oversaturated social media landscape, being able to create the right supply of content is crucial. Eyeballs are everything in media, so competing for them can become hectic if it's not done in a nimble and agile way. Therefore, the use of data and technology becomes imperative to shape up content strategy in real time and be able to succeed. I think I went a little too fast. Thank you.
That's awesome. We do have time for a couple of questions.
Yeah.
There's a bit of time, so if you do have a question, just raise your hand. There are some, so someone will bring a microphone. There you go.
Hello, good morning. Actually, I have a question, like I'll split that into two parts. One, as you mentioned, like content is king for you, right? So how have you managed to automate the content, as the news can be viral in a couple of minutes, people searching for it, and the time you guys take to convert or edit? Have you guys worked on any automation of some kind where you can edit the content so that you can avoid the trademark issues and launch it at your platform? One. And second, like, how do you optimize? Like, as you know, right, now people search content on social media platforms, right? You know you can rank on Google by doing SEOs. Is there a way you guys have worked where you can improve your ranking on social media?
Thank you. So the first part to your question is that, yes, we are a kitchen, and what we serve is news. So it becomes very important for us to optimize the way that we create content. Not only do we optimize the way that we choose what content we have, but also the production process of content, meaning we've had several integrations within our in-house tools, whereby, for instance, let's say that you have a live stream on air. We have tools in-house that really, with a click of a button, can cut a clip, prepare it, brand it, and have it on social within 10 or 15 seconds. So we do have certain content production optimization methods in place. I don't know if this is exactly what you were looking for. Obviously, plus some other project management tools that we use as part of our stack internally as well. Not everything is on air. Sometimes things are offline. So we do have a quite comprehensive setup when it comes to that. As far as optimization, on social in specific, we don't currently optimize for social per se, but our optimization is mainly on web. It's mainly for our website. So we don't optimize much on social, mainly because we're in the business of volume. We spit out tons of content per day, and it's pretty easy to find. So we haven't really started doing that. No. Is that it?
Is that it? Are we all out of questions? Say yes. Or no. One more time for Hazem. Make some noise for him, please. Thank you.